It's not a bit more money. This is far more extreme than that. This is about surviving, paying the rent, not being thrown out of your private rented accommodation, not having to face a winter where you're choosing whether to eat or to heat.
More than 600 workers at the housing and homelessness charity Shelter are beginning an unprecedented fortnight of strike action after a 3% pay increase this year had left some of Shelter's staff unable to pay their rent and very worried about the possibility of becoming homeless.
Hi, so I'm Peter Story. I'm the regional officer for Unite the Union.
Can you tell me about today's dispute?
So we've got 600 of our members on strike. These are people that advise on housing insecurity, facing housing insecurity themselves because they've been put into a situation of an 11% real terms pay cut. Shelter management have met us at ACAS. They refused to negotiate on this year's pay. We remain open to negotiate at all times. Shelter management left the negotiations early. We've asked them to come back and negotiate this year's money. The key thing here is that we read out testimonies of our members that work for Shelter, there was one woman that has a young baby, she can't heat her house. We've got people, most of the people here pay rent. The cost of rent has gone up 15%. And so these people that we read out their testimonies, they are facing a situation of they can't heat their houses, they can't eat. We've got a solid strike in 10 locations across the UK, from Dundee to London. We've got a huge amount of support politically, and we'll be out until we get this resolved. We're insisting that we must have negotiations for 2022, and our members need to be the top priority. When Shelter set their budgets on their spend, they must spend. In a cost of living crisis, their top priority must be their staff.
I can't afford things anymore, certainly not holidays and takeaways. I visit a cheap supermarket at 7:30 on a Saturday evening and follow the colleague around that reduces bread and meat. This I used to do to maximise income. Now it's a necessity. I live month to month without expendable income and have suddenly found that I'm in my overdraft for the first time in 2 years. At work recently, I completed a financial assessment application for a household who had a larger income than mine, albeit through benefits, as they were seeking assistance. But there's no assistance for me. I am genuinely worried how single-income households will manage in the next 12 months. I've asked my manager for more support with the cost of living crisis, and she said she hopes Shelter will respond soon. I think it would be quite surprising for the public to hear that a homelessness charity, the workers in that, are going on strike. I mean, what kind of wage bracket are we talking about here?
The average wage is around 30,000. Now, you know, if you're working one of the UK's big cities, that's not a lot of money. If you're a private renter, most of our members they're in that age bracket. You know, it's not just the cost; it's the insecurity of powerful landlords that can, you know. This is the irony of the situation. These are the very same people advising their clients about how to deal with a landlord that's threatening to throw you out on the streets. You know, it's not just the cost, it's the insecurity, it's the anxiety. Shelter should not be putting their staff in this position. It's just wrong. You know, people choose to work in this sector out of love, but, you know, they love their families too. You know, they've got to provide, and their goodwill should not be exploited. You know, it's very similar to the NHS in that regard. People do this job because they love the job, they want to make a difference. They've got to be taken care of.
We're standing in East London. I think that perhaps some of the public or the tabloids might say this is sort of lefty-lovey, so we're going out looking for a bit more money. Is that the reality?
It's not a bit more money. This is far more extreme than that. This is about surviving, paying the rent, not being thrown out of your private rented accommodation, not having to face a winter where you're choosing whether to eat or to heat. And they're going to lose a lot of the frontline support staff. that give the support to their clients. Those are skills that will be lost to shelter.
What are we losing here? So what does the public have to lose if these people don't return to work?
Well, it's not a statutory service that's provided, but it's an important service that our members care very much about. You know, they do not go on strike lightly. This is really, you know, after a whole year of trying to get shelters to negotiate. So, yeah, what they're losing is support to the clients that are most vulnerable. We are providing emergency support. When you know, we've ensured that in every location where our members are on strike up and down the country, where there are emergencies, we will be making sure that those are covered. But it's not a statutory service, so obviously everything else can wait, but the emergencies will be covered.
Unite said the imposed pay deal was a huge real terms pay cut, adding that shelters reserves last year stood at about 14.5 million, which is substantially higher than its target reserves of 8.9 million. Last Thursday, the General Secretary of the GMB said that we could be looking at a general strike. Why do you think at this moment in time workers are choosing to take unpaid days of leave in order to get better conditions?
I think this is part of the whole political situation in the UK where you see shareholders. I mean, it's different in the charity sector, of course, but in the general terms, you've got shareholders taking 500 million in payments where that's the posties, for example, and expecting their staff to take a pay cut. This is about redistribution of wealth to the wealthy. The money is there. We're the sixth richest country in the world. Where it's not. People say, "Where's the money coming from? Where's the money going?" That's the issue. I'm pretty sure the public understand the situation, whether that's the NHS, even the rail workers, and the posties, and charity workers. I think generally, certainly, when I watch Question Time, I see the amount of support there are for nurses. Half my family work in the NHS. So the goodwill of people that choose to do a job that maybe doesn't pay so well, but that should not be exploited, should not be taken advantage of. You know, that's gone on for too long. This isn't just this year. This has gone on for a lot of years. So Rishi Sunak, I think he's out of touch. I think he lives in a different world from the rest of the UK population, from the workers of the UK. Not the same world.